So let's begin with a prayer. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So we are all here because of the grace of our gurus, and we invoke the entire Guru Shishya Parampara. So very interesting topic we have for today, the necessity for psychological growth in Vedanta. I would say in any pursuit, be it Dharma, Artha, Kama, psychological growth is important. This is given. It is understood by all of us. And so this is our starting point. Then the question is, what is the psychological growth that is necessary before spiritual growth? The height of spiritual growth in Vedanta means discovering that your true unchanging nature is Brahman, the limitless being. And so you are the only thing that is the big, so big that you have no limits, no boundaries. So you are Brahman and you cannot grow any further than this because all that is here is you, is Ishvara, is consciousness, is Atma. So whatever you do, you cannot grow to becoming Brahman. Why? Because you are already Brahman, the limitless being. I'm assuming most people have some background of Vedanta, so uh, the talk is geared in that way. Now, the pursuit of Vedanta is strange and it is unlike any other pursuits. For Dharma, Artha, and Kama, the nature of the pursuit is apraptasya praptihi. I do not have money, I seek it, I get it. What is apraptaha, not obtained, I obtain, there is praptihi. I don't have a partner and hence I seek a partner. It is apraptaha for me and later there is prapti. It's just an example, okay? I am not seeking a partner. I experience a lot of difficulties and the astrologer says for Rahu in your chart, please go to Kalahasti. I go there, I get a lot of punya, which helps me tide over my many difficulties. So in Dharma Artha Kama pursuits, all the way, it is apraptasya praptihi. I am obtaining that which is not available with me. And so Dharma, Artha, and Kama are growth-based pursuits. Vedanta also has a growth-based pursuit, but the growth in Vedanta is little different. So the vision is that you are already Purnaha, the fullness, the Ananda that you are seeking. It is praptasya praptihi, meaning you have already obtained what you are seeking. How come? Oh, because it's you. So then, when we come to Vedanta, may have been few days earlier, few weeks, few months, few years earlier, when we hear Tat Tvam Asi, we should all walk out free. Such tiny words, but of course referred to as Mahavakya Akhandartha Bodharthakam. So, it's revealing the meaning. So these three small words, but called Mahavakya. You are that Brahman. So what happens to most of us is that we have familiarity with the words, but we do not see the meaning as oneself. Why not? Because we are not prepared to see it. So then what does one need? Antakarna Shuddhi and Antakarna Naishchalyam. So big fancy words, so I will break it down. Okay, the psychological growth that we need in Vedanta is a purification of the mind and a very steady focus of the mind. So now the question will be, but how will I know? Is there a measurement for this? Well, the answer is good enough. Good enough purification of the mind, good enough focus, such that you are able to see the limitless reality as yourself. So let me share an embarrassing incident. In the first a month or so of the full-time course with Puja Swamiji, I had my filter of project management. I was leading an organization, that was my filter. So I came up with a list of key performance indicators to know that I am progressing well in my Vedanta studies. I took it to our Acharya, Swami Sakshat Kritananji. He looked at it with great attention and detail, and he just smiled. And then he said, you don't need this. So I am very eager, earnest, sincere student. I said, no, Swamiji, I want to make the most of my time here. I am accountable to myself. I am accountable to you and Puja Swamiji for uh, really absorbing and assimilating everything. He said, just keep it. You can look at it from time to time. And then, he has a particular smile, which indicates no more discussion. Okay. So the intention was good, but in the name of growth, I was seeking to impose another judgment on myself. So when people come to Vedanta, they realize that there is a lot of psychological growth to be done. Some think I'm going to take a break and then I will resume Vedanta. But then they get so lost in the process, and you're not seeing the goal, as a result of which you can get entangled in the process. So a lot of people in the new age space are like that. They hop from one workshop to another to another. They are trying to heal, and that's fantastic. But the point is, no matter how much healing you undergo, if you conclude that you are this much only, even if you say, I am energy, you are energy, you are still finite. What is the healing for? So that you discover you are the whole. Then, on the other hand, there are some who come to Vedanta and with their nose up in the air, with this aura of superiority, they will say, oh, all this psychology, this is all for Westerners. We want pure Advaita Vedanta. Just check with people around them. They will complain that this person is a pain to live with. Why? Because they have bypassed the psychological maturity that is required. In their respective study groups, they will strut around with an air of superiority, but they have not undergone the maturity required. So then, what is the golden mean? Because it does not make sense to be only process focused because you're missing the goal. It does not make sense to be only goal focused and forget about the process. So when I talk about the golden mean, which is of course a very dynamic golden mean, where we focus on the process of growth without losing sight of the goal, that is you. In this, I consider that there are 3 to 4 criss-crossing journeys that we all need to undertake. And as Puja Swamiji would say, it's like eating noodles, right? You just take one and a few others will come along. So I'm going to talk about 4 journeys that we need to undertake. One is journey of the drama of I to Dharma of Ishvara. The second is journey of self-judgment to self-acceptance. 3 is journey of being the Ahankara to the Bhakta devotee, to the Nimitta, the instrument. 4th is the journey from I want to fix my mind, which is a problem, to I master and use my mind as an antakarana for all my pursuits. So I will dwell on each of them. I call them journeys because one has miles to go before one sleeps. There are a lot of twists and turns and roadblocks and speed breakers. And at the end of all these journeys, the filters come off so that one can truly see the world in a grain of sand, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. So, the first journey, the journey of drama of I to dharma of Ishvara. So, right now, we're all in this movie where, you know, we are the main hero or the heroine. There is Shanti mostly, peace, but a lot of Ashanti. Why? Because you are also an unpublished author. You have written a book called How Life Should Be. And the chapters in the book are titled How My Parents Should Have Been, How My Education and Career Should Be, How My Partner Should Be, how my children should be, how I should be, how my guru should be. These days gurus are also not spared. So, another word for how things should be, especially for how one's partner should be, is raga. Now, this binding desire that consumes me does not sit in one corner of my mind. It makes me restless. When I tell my partner to sit down, he better sit down, then I'm happy. But most of the time, what to do? He's running around. I'm not happy. Then, if raga is there, then dvesha is not far away. If dvesha is an aversion of what I don't want people to do and what I don't want myself to do, but I end up doing, that's also lingering around. So, when people do not behave the way I want, there is dislike and sometimes hatred also. So, our living reality is that there is a gap between how uh, what I see is and how it should be. Naturally, there is going to be lot of drama in my life. Ashantasya kuta sukham. To the one who doesn't have shanti, peace, how can there be happiness? So, what to do? Is it wrong that I want people to change? I'm telling for their good only. Shouldn't my son be doing Sandhya Vandanam once a day? At least it's correct, no? So, we will justify this. And it is very delicious to be self righteous and try and correct the whole world. So, given that there are conflict situations on a day to day basis, what shall we do? I see how I contribute to the drama of my life. Much before Nitya Nitya Viveka, Dharma Adharma Viveka, or rather, Dharma Drama Viveka is to be done. So when I look at myself, what do I find? I find that I hurt people with my words and actions. There is himsa. I lie often, asatyam. I am attached to things and people and just want to grab them, parigraha. I tend to steal credit and ideas and portray them as mine, steya. I am not satisfied with whatever I have, asantosha. I am deeply disturbed and restless. Like antique pieces, I have piled up. That one, that's the hurt from 20 years ago. And then that is the guilt from 30 years ago. And this pain is more recent. This is like 5 years ago pain. All this is a shaucham. I have fear because I play the game what if? What if I die? What if people around me die? So on and so forth. Naturally, there is bhaya. I resist reality and have no surrender. So there is no Ishvara Pranidhanam. Others are a problem, they should change. No Swadhyaya. I am not looking at myself in the light of the Shastra. So I wake up to the drama in my life because of my acts of adharma. I do not want this ashanti to continue. And so I align with dharma. How does one do that? Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha. 15th chapter. Bhagwan says, I have entered your heart hridi as consciousness, which of course includes everything, accommodates everything, which of course includes dharma. So we see that the voice of dharma is alive and kicking in everyone's heart. Even a child who is playing with the doll and the doll falls down, the 2-year-old child will wipe the tears of the doll and say, no, no, don't cry. So where did the child learn empathy? Which counseling course did the child go to? The child just has picked this up. And we all instinctively, naturally are drawn to dharma. So then, when we think about ourselves and think of the moments where we are really proud of ourselves in a nice way, these moments will be moments of dharma. That time when there was an argument with your in laws and you conducted yourself in a very dignified way, stating what was wrong and needed rectification without any insults or name calling, ahimsa. That time when you donated for 1 year's expenses of uniform and books for poor school children, Danam. That time in the morning when you saw that everything that you have is given, you are grateful, Santosha. That time when it was a busy day as usual, but you did not go to sleep without completing your japa, tapas or sadhana. That time when you really worked hard for your career, dhritihi, fortitude. So when we look into ourselves and our lives, we see that we have so many moments of dharma, and dharma has made us very happy. So then we move from drama to dharma because we see that how much that drama is affecting my life. I'm calling drama in a playful way, but I'm referring to the many acts of adharma that I do on a day-to-day basis, with or without Vedanta, and I tend to uh, push this under the carpet. So then, with whom to act with dharma? Everyone. So aligning with dharma means doing what is to be done in all my roles. So brother, sister, mother, father, employee, friend, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, citizen, etc., etc. This itself is challenging because dharma may not be spontaneous for us. And of course, besides all this, I honor my relationships with the devatas. So, Deva Yajna, I honor and revere my relationships with my pitras, my ancestors, from my parents onwards. I do what I can for them on a daily basis. Bhutas, plants and animals, all that are around me, I again honor and revere them and do what I can for them. Rishis, acharyas, gurus, the gotra, the sampradaya I belong to, I do what I can for them in line with dharma. And manushyaha, the larger community, society, nation, the world, I do what I can for all of them. I also understand that people are unique because everyone has their own unique set of punya papa. Everyone has their background. So modern psychology is too focused on my thoughts, my emotions, my behavior, my sensations, my experiences, my perspectives, my, Ahankara, Mamakara, and loses out on the big picture of Dharma. If you look at all the pain that you have experienced in your life, it is because either you or someone else did not uphold Dharma. Bhagwan Krishna did not tell Arjuna, you know what, just have prasada buddhi, okay? So just accept what has happened. Don't go to war. Accept it as papa karma. You suffered so much in the forest. Don't worry, you got used to it now. Suffer a little more. Don't go to war. I will help you cope with it. Nothing doing. Stand up for dharma, right? It is a timeless lesson. So the way we feel has more to do with dharma than we may think. I did a podcast episode also on this theme in my weekly podcast, Vedanta, the River of Wisdom. So you all can check it out. So what we do is we move from drama to dharma, because dharma includes obviously laws of karma, laws of nature, laws of cause effect, and where there is intelligence, there is Bhagavan. There is a conscious being, and that is Ishvara or Bhagavan. So aligning to dharma deliberately every day in all my relationships requires me to make some effort. It's not comfortable. So the journey of psychological growth is from the drama of I, me and myself, to dharma of Ishvara. Vedanta is addressed to a dharmika person, to the Arjuna in all of us, not to Duryodhana. So if one does not understand Vedanta correctly, then one can escape into it and say that, oh, Dharma is all mithya. But the truth is, whether you are wise or otherwise, the cosmic framework for all interaction is Dharma for everyone. Then someone would say, oh, but don't get involved with this world too much. This is all Maya. Escape. One must withdraw from interactions, otherwise, how will I have Vairagya? Escape. So please check if you are escaping functional reality by dodging dharma. This is such an important journey that we all have to undertake, such that dharma becomes spontaneous for all of us. How else will Sanatana Dharma grow? Because dharma lives in the dharmi, and you keep dharma alive, just like your ancestors did. And indeed, you make it Sanatana Dharma. The second journey that is important for us to pay attention to is the journey of self judgment to self acceptance. So, in our journey of life, our secret sorrow is I am not good enough. Extremely wealthy, very famous, talented people, everyone battles with this. Now, this is not a psychological problem. It is a spiritual problem because you have taken what this is to be only you. A judgment is different from a provisional conclusion. So, subject to information, you can change your conclusion. But the judgment that I am this much only and we struggle with our limitation, well, that feels like an entrenched conclusion. And so we have made so many judgments about ourselves, which cause us great dukkha, sorrow. So then we have to inquire now, is this judgment, is this conclusion real or not? You have mistaken Annamaya Kosha, this modification of food, to be you. Society has made so many judgments about your body. Some children get really bullied in school also because of the way they are, they look, and so on. Now, at least Miss Universe should feel secure. She has been crowned Miss Universe, so when she steps out to the hotel and wearing her designer wear and makeup, she should feel secure. I'm enough. What is the need to do all this? Right? She's already been declared the most beautiful person in the universe, but she also battles with I am not enough. So we are either too short or too tall or too dark or too fat. So many judgments we are heaping on ourselves because we have mistaken this body, Annamaya Kosha, to be I. Then to add to it, all the advertisements also make me believe that something is wrong with me. Only if I use certain brands, you are worth it. Otherwise, it is unspoken. Okay. Now, this Annamaya Kosha, this modification of food is sustained by Annam. That is Bhagavan. You are aware of it. You are more than the body. Just the way your body works so brilliantly, all the electrolytes, all the so-called biomedical parameters, they are all in dynamic balance. You drink a lot of water, the body manages homeostasis. You drink too less water, that also the body manages. The kidney is filtering the blood like 180 times a day. The stomach, the liver, everyone is at work. Whatever you eat, drink, everything gets digested. Okay. So much intelligence this body has, and this entire material, the way it works, you recognize that what you thought is the body, well, actually, it is the intelligence and material that is Ishvara. You are grateful for this body. You see, you are more than the body, and so the journey is from self judgment to seeing Ishvara as pervading the material and intelligence of the body, and hence a growing self acceptance. You have mistaken Pranamaya Kosha, this modification of prana, the living, breathing person, to be you. But you also see that you are more than the energy levels and your moods. Whatever be your judgments about this aging body, your prana is sustained by Vayu. Tenaisha Purnaha Taitriya, for those who need a reference. Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. The prana that you are inhaling, well, hello, it is Namaste Vayu. That you are in this subtle form, you are indeed Brahman. And so you are grateful for this prana. You also recognize that you will survive the death of this form. So the journey is from self-judgment of this limited body to seeing Ishvara pervading prana, and hence a growing self-acceptance. You have mistaken Manomaya Kosha, this modification of the mind, changing thoughts and feelings to be you. So many judgments you have made about your anger, about the shameful things you have done, perhaps some murderous thoughts that you've had, feelings of jealousy that you cannot share. Maybe you had a desire for an extramarital affair. All these modifications of the mind, these are all changing. You're kind of in a catch 22 situation. You feel restless, then you have a judgment. I have a restless mind. But why I'm so restless? But why I cannot be calm? Now I'm upset because I'm restless. So I react to a reaction, and that is endless. And so there are so many judgments about myself based on my mind. This very judging is a particular kind of thinking. Everyone uh, faces this, okay? And we have a tendency to convert knowledge into should and shouldn't. So um, you will discover some shanti. I should be peaceful, but I am not peaceful. Why I am not peaceful? Relax, okay? But the way we manage situations, we are actually contributing to the problem more than being the solution. So everything, including our psychological issues, stops being a problem if I refuse to make a judgment about myself on the basis of my mind. Because this kind of a judgment can undermine the understanding of Vedanta. A lot of students say, I understand Tattvamasi, I understand I'm Satchidananda, but I do not feel it. Manomaya Kosha. Okay. You are stuck with the conditions of your mind. You have equated I equals feeling. And as long as you're stuck there, you will always say this, but why I don't feel it? Because you need little more understanding that you are more than the conditions of your mind, and whatever is an object of your awareness, the object cannot be the subject. Okay, so a lot to be done on Drigdrishya Viveka. So Satchidananda is obviously not something to be experienced, it is to be understood as you. But modern psychology, in the name of helping you label and deal with things, perpetuates a lot of judgments based on the condition of the mind. So we just need a few glimpses to see that I am more than my changing mind. I am not defined. Okay, understand definition is that which does not change, okay, which is so intrinsic to an object. So, like the nature of fire is to burn. Nowhere in the world can you see fire and find that it is, if it is fire, it will burn. Otherwise, it's not fire, right? So I am not defined by the conditions of my changing mind. In any case, even if I look at my changing mind, all thoughts, all emotions, they are sustained by Ishvara's laws of the mind. So the journey is from self judgment of the mind to seeing Ishvara as pervading the laws of the mind. And hence, there is a growing self acceptance. Then you have mistaken Vijnanamaya Kosha, this modification of the doer, the karta, to be you. So many self judgments based on what I have done, what I have not done. And then there are regrets also. So Taittiriya Upanishad refers to this dilemma. Kimaham sadhuna karavam. Why did I not do the right thing? Kimaham papamakaravam. Why did I do the wrong thing? So we battle with this, right, for a good chunk of our lives. And so many judgments on my identity as a doer, karta. I am a loser or I'm an achiever, either way, positive or negative. But all self judgments which point to I am not enough. A very wise person said, this is only what I do. Underneath, I am much more. You know who the wise person was? Batman, okay, in the movie. I am more than the karma I do, and all karma is sustained by the laws of karma. That is Bhagwan. So the journey is from self judgment of the doer to seeing Ishvara as pervading the laws of karma and hence a growing self acceptance. And then you have also mistaken this Anandamaya Kosha, this modification of experiential happiness to be you. It would be very interesting if I do this exercise. If I ask you to complete the sentence, and maybe you can do this mentally. I am happy when. Okay, you all will have certain things to say. So some people say, I am happy when my children listen to me. I am happy when my boss praises me. I am happy when I eat a mango season in India. Okay. There are so many self judgments based on what one has experienced or not experienced in life, and we make our happiness conditional. And then we see also that I am more than my experiences. Experiences come, however exalted or however mundane, and they go away. All experiences are sustained by Ishvara, that is Ananda, that is Brahman. Anando Brahmeti Tyajanat Anandadhyeva Khalvimani Bhutani Jayante Anandena Jatani Jivanti Anandam Prayantyabhisamvishanti Saisha Bhargavi Varuni Vidya Parame Vyoman Pratisthita Saya Evam Veda Pratitishthati. From Ananda alone, all things, all beings are born. Because of Ananda, Brahman, the limitless, that is you alone, all things exist. And that Ananda into which all beings resolve is Brahman. This was the Vidya that was given by the Rishi Bhrigu to Varuna. May you know this. So, in seeing that I am more than my experiences of happiness, I am sustained by Ananda, that is Ishvara, that is Brahman. In fact, I am that. The journey is from self judgment of the experiencer, the Bhokta, to seeing Ishvara as pervading all laws of experiences and hence a growing self acceptance. Psychological growth is not possible if you do not understand Yatha Pinde Tatha Brahmande. Where there is the individual, there alone is the total. So, in seeing that Ishvara pervades the material and intelligence of all the forms, my self judgment transforms into self acceptance. And on another note, who the hell are you to reject yourself? How can you not accept yourself? Because you are a manifestation of Ishvara, right? I mean, even if you have not understood you are Brahman, but what is it that is truly yours? Body is given to you, mind is given to you, thoughts are given to you, emotions are given to you, experiences are given to you, punya papa given to you. What is it that you are holding on to that is yours? Okay. So, anyway, still we have all these judgments. So, what do? We have to pick ourselves up. So, we remind ourselves of the teaching in the sixth chapter of the Gita. Uddharedatmanatmanam atmanam avasadhayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. So may you lift yourself by yourself, because you are your own bandhu, you are your own friend. You could also be your own enemy if you are not able to invoke Atma Kripa. So the journey of self-acceptance is very easy, very doable in the recognition of Ishvara filling up your life. The third journey I want to talk about is the journey of being the Ahankara, the limited ego, to the Bhakta, the devotee, to the Nimitta, being an instrument. So, this ego or Ahankara is really struggling in the material world. Okay, the ego has lots of fears. So, fear of failure, fear of being abandoned, fear of being taken for a ride, and so on. And uh, some of us may know about the story of Dhruva. This 5-year-old Dhruva, this story occurs in the Bhagavatam. He had a very innocent desire of sitting on his father's lap. His father's first wife, Suruchi, told him, get down. If you want to sit on your father's lap, you go and ask Bhagwan to be born in my womb. Only then you will have this privilege. Dhruva started crying. He was very sad at being abandoned. He went to his mother, who was the second wife of the father, her name was Suniti. So she tried to console Dhruva, but he was so determined to meet God because he thought that God has denied him his rightful place, which is on his father's lap. So he set out on this lonely journey to the forest. Dhruva was determined to seek his rightful place in the world. Narada appears before him. He guides him by teaching him certain rituals and mantras, and also he teaches him a particular mantra regarding Vasudeva. So, having been advised, Dhruva started his meditation. He went without food and water for 6 months. His tapobala was so great that it shook up Swarga, and Vishnu appeared before him. But the child would not open his eyes because he was still so absorbed in this vision of Vishnu that was described to him by Narada. So then Vishnu made the inner vision disappear. Immediately, Dhruva opened his eyes and he saw all pervasive Vishnu. He bowed down. He could not utter a single word. He was so overwhelmed with gratitude. Then Vishnu touched his right cheek with his shankha. And then Dhruva started speaking. He composed a set of 12 verses called Dhruva Stuti. And pleased by his tapasya, Vishnu granted him the wish that he would uh, be known. He would do a lot of seva for Vishnu. And of course, his entire family would be thrilled with him, would anyway have lot of affection for him, and that he would become a celestial body, not even touched by pralaya. So Dhruva returned to his kingdom and he was warmly received, and he attained the crown at the age of 6. He ruled for many decades in a fair and just manner. So the Ahankara that felt isolated, that felt abandoned and misunderstood, went to another finite person. And human beings, we are not consistent. Ishvara is really our ultimate therapist. Only when the Ahankara, the ego, sought refuge in Ishvara, he could become a devotee, a bhakta, who eventually became a nimitta, an instrument of Bhagwan. So a nimitta is one who does whatever is to be done in different roles and different situations. No role is too much, no role is too little. Can take on lot of roles, can drop lot of roles, it doesn't matter. Because I am much more than the roles. So when everything that I have is given to me, then what is it that is me and mine? So the Ahankara, the ego, has no choice but to surrender. The Ahankara offers the best karma aligned with Dharma to Bhagavan, with Kaushala. And the earlier stressed out, worried Karta transforms to a relaxed Karta doer. The Ahankara receives all the karma phala in terms of people, situations in life, as prasada with a lot of samatvam. So this anxious, sad experiencer of karma phala, results of all karma, transforms to a cheerful, accepting experiencer bhokta. So there might continue to be a lot of problems that we attempt to solve in our lives, but we learn to accept facts. By rejecting a fact, we can never solve any problem. And so, the more we learn to see facts for what they are, there is Shanti. So, this dynamic play of Kaushalam and Samatvam, Karma Yoga, in other words, goes on. And the Ahankara, who was so obsessed with I, me, myself, transforms to a bhakta, to a devotee, who also transforms into a nimitta, an instrument for Bhagavan. And finally, the fourth journey, which is all interlinked with what I have said already, is the journey from I want to fix my mind, which is a problem, to I master and use my mind, true to its name as an antakarana for all my pursuits. So then, in aligning with Dharma, in recognizing Bhagavan, in systematically learning Vedanta with the Guru, you learn to master your mind. That mind which seemed like a problem is now prasada. You are grateful for this mind, which is the most glorious thing in this world. And actually, you are a temple. Deho devalaya proktaha. So this thing is the devalaya, this deha. Deva Jiva Sanatanaha, this Jiva, who is the deity, in this temple? It is the Deva is the Jiva. Then what is to be done? Tyajit Ajnana Nirmalyam. Soham Bhavena Pujayet. So the wilted flowers that had been offered in the temple, where we were worshipping the ego, we were worshipping Dharma, Artha, Kama pursuits. Well, they are all stemming from avidya, ignorance, and may that be given up. And may one do this Atma Puja by recognizing that I, the Jiva, is none other than Ishvara. So, irrespective of your desirable, undesirable qualities of the mind, you are Satchidananda, you are in spite of your mind. I remember when I was an intern and we would go around the psychiatric ward, we would ask the patients. It was a part of our protocol. So, which is the day today? Which month? What did you eat? Etc. etc. The technical term for all these set of questions was reality orientation, okay, which would help us to reach the right diagnosis. Psychological growth is not possible without Vedanta, because to have sanity is to be in touch with reality. So through Vedanta, we are alive to the functional reality, Vyavaharika Satyam, by undertaking these 3 to 4 criss-crossing journeys. The journey of the drama of I to Dharma of Ishvara, the journey of self-judgment to self-acceptance, the journey of being the Ahankara to the devotee, the Bhakta to the being the Nimitta, the instrument. And fourth, journey from I want to fix my mind, which is a problem, Do I use and master my mind as an antakarana for all my pursuits? And then, as we are going through these different journeys, we are able to see that this Vyavaharika Satyam, this functional reality, is pervaded by Paramarthika Satyam, the absolute reality that is in and through all of this. So, what we think is Vyavaharika Satyam, this functional reality, has no reality of its own. So, in Vedanta, psychological growth involves you being alive to reality. My prayers that we all grow so big that we are ready to see that we have no limits because we cannot be bigger than what we already are. That is Brahman. So we are that. Om Tat Sat. I'll be very happy to take questions. Okay. So as the questions come, I will answer. Yeah. Or maybe there are some, because another way of doing it is to look at all the series of questions and then, weave all of it together. So let me come to absolute reality a little later, perhaps. Okay, let's ask Aparna. Go ahead.
Yeah, Namaste Swamini ji. Thanks for the session. We understand that you have spoken about the current reality, how we are oriented to the reality which we are facing every day. But uh, we also spoke about an absolute reality. What is it, and can we feel it? How does it look like? Is there a reality beyond the current reality?
Aparna, can I ask, do you have any background of Vedanta?
I just go through your videos. That is my only background.
Okay, okay, okay. So I think I would like to have a little bit of a dialogue with Aparna. Okay. Aparna, do you exist?
Yes, when I have interaction with others, and I there is some kind of a action which I do.
What
Uh,
about deep
do it,
sleep? Do you still exist in deep sleep?
no, I have not experienced myself in deep sleep.
I asked you, do you exist? I did ask you what
Yes.
you're experiencing in deep sleep. Of course, you exist. Okay, you woke up today and you're attending the session. So, I mean, to just put it very briefly, uh, the whole study of Vedanta is to discover the absolute reality that is you. So, when we use the word absolute, it means that which is unchanging, that which cannot be negated. Like you cannot say, I don't exist. Okay. And that which is the basis of all forms. So, just like space, okay, just to appreciate this a little better, uh, can we see space? The answer is no. If you could see space, there would be light that gets reflected and we would all be blind. Because even blind people can sense space, right? So it is subtle, it accommodates air, water, fire, etc. But it remains unaffected by all that it accommodates. And the absolute reality that is the limitless, that is Brahman, is the basis of even this subtle form called space. So I would suggest you study Vedanta systematically, and then this will be more clear for you. Okay, but good question. Okay, Amit.
Hari Om, Swaminiji. So, for Antakarana Shuddhi, which is necessary for the knowledge to become clearer, prayer and daily reading of scriptures, let's say Puja Swamiji's, home study, these must be helpful. And is there anything more that one needs to do?
Yeah, so I would go back to the first point, which is that what you're referring to is Swadhyaya,
Yeah.
and is Shravanam, right?
Yeah.
Now, I want to look at my life and see how all my relationships are. Am I living by Dharma in all my relationships? Or am I running away from some? Or have I resolved, am I at peace with everything around me? Because if I do not address this, I could be doing Shravanam the whole day, but I have bypassed this essential part of my psychological journey, right? People are always looking, oh, but what to apply in Vedanta? Just apply Dharma, that's more than enough. Okay, because the truth of who you are cannot be applied, it is you. So I would suggest that you look at all that, look at what you are giving and receiving in your different family relationships. What more would you like to give and receive in the light of what needs to be done so that you can move uh, the well-being and the happiness and growth of all people concerned as a contributor.
Yes, thank you,
Wonderful.
Mataji. So
Wonderful.
it is like, I think two additional things is one is leading life by Dharma, and then also the relationship management part, let's say Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence piece, correct? How social awareness, social relationship management,
That's right.
the
That's
healthy form of that.
excellent. And
Okay.
see, how will you apply karma yoga? Right? We have done Shravanam of karma yoga. It's so beautiful the way Puja Swamiji unfolds it. How do I perform my karma in the context of all my relationships? I do what I can. Kaushalam. I align with Dharma. There is no Kaushalam. There is no effectiveness in action without aligning with Dharma. So then I obviously look at what am I doing and what more do I need to do so that I contribute to the person's happiness, growth, and well-being. And that may include tough love also, and so be it, no problem. Right? So it
Thank
is
you.
inescapable. You cannot apply karma yoga without looking at all your relationships. How to overcome our vasanas. Okay. So vasanas are also referred to as samskaras, certain sensory impressions that are there on our mind because of a repetition of certain desires or certain thought patterns or certain experiences. And as a result of which they give rise to raga dveshas, cravings and aversions. And reality gets filtered by our strong inclinations for different things. So what shall we do? The same principle applies when you are trying to learn a new habit. Okay. So let's say that I was addicted to smoking and now I am trying to, I want to give that up. Now, if I'm going to struggle with this so-called vasana, I will struggle my whole life. Okay. But instead, what I need to do is focus on things that will be healthy for me. I need to have new habits. So, which may mean, I start running and walking, I will be perfect at panting away, making me realize that, what, this smoking is not such a great idea. Okay. And then the time that I use for smoking, the people I socialize with while smoking, I might want to tweak it a little bit so that I have these newer patterns, newer positive samskaras, so that the effect of the old samskaras wears away. So it's very much like, if you're going on a trek and you see that there is one route which has lots of thorns, but it seems like the only route. If you go through it, the shrubs have lots of thorns and so on. And then you also, intuitively feel that maybe you need to go to the right. There is no pathway there yet, okay? But you kind of sense that, well, if you walk down that path, maybe you would have discovered a new shortcut. And so, this new pathway, the new habit, the new samskara, you walk on it once, twice, many times. And this is also spoken of increasingly these days in the context of neuropsychology, that, we look at newer pathways that are formed And so the effect of the old samskaras, because nobody is any longer walking on that path which has so many horns and thorns and whatever else. So then you overcome the samskaras not by fighting with it, not by like, okay, I am fully charged and I'm going to attack it, I'm going to conquer it. Relax, okay? You need to focus on other things, newer pathways, and then in time, you find that the effect of the old samskaras dies away. Of course, offer all your samskaras unto Bhagwan and seek grace. Do a lot of prayers and recognize that the mithyatvam of the samskara also. I mean, assuming that you have some background in Vedanta, then that's going to be helpful. Okay. Can we say that Vedanta is needed for psychological growth and psychological growth is needed for progressing with understanding ourselves? It is like a spiral dance. Yes, we can say that for sure. Okay, Gabriela, how to shift from superficial information pointing to the truth to in-depth knowing of whatever insight has taken place. What is the missing link when we seem to understand but don't feel it as our nature yet? So I will go back to uh, the understanding of Manomaya Kosha. That is the missing link. That we are so quick to judge. We judge ourselves and our Vedanta understanding in two ways. One, I understand Vedanta, but I don't feel it. Okay. So then just go back to this uh, error that I equals the feelings of my mind. It is an error. You have to see I am more than the feelings of my mind, and I can welcome whatever comes. Okay. So there is a little bit of a process that is related to it. And the second error is I know I'm Brahman, I don't experience it. Check, check Vijnanamaya Kosha, check Anandamaya Kosha. Your understanding is not complete, your Viveka is not complete on both these matters, and that is the missing link. I still identify with the experiences of my life. I equals experience, and I equals my sadhana. Okay, so if you want to have a one-on-one, we can discuss this further. Okay, let's see if there are, no, that's it. Okay, those are all the questions we had. Any questions anybody wants to ask live, I'm happy to take it. Okay, there's one. How to start reading Vedanta systematic way? There is no systematic way to read Vedanta. I mean, you find a guru. Okay, the Upanishad says that to know the truth, you go to a guru. The Upanishad does not say you read, you do mantras, you do sadhana. This is what the teaching is. This is what the tradition is. So I would say you look around for, there are lots of teachers in Arsha Vidya. See whom you resonate with. See whom you can be in touch with to clarify your understanding. Don't watch YouTube videos without being in touch with the teacher. You can do that for a little while, but it won't help in the long run. And start attending Bhagavad Gita classes wherever you can find. Okay. If this is just not possible, and I don't see why it is not possible, then please pick up books from Arsha Vidya Research and Publication Trust, Puja Swamiji's books. Pick up The Value of Values, pick up morning meditation prayers, read this thoroughly. Then if you still feel like, no, I want to go a little deeper, then you look at Vision of the Bhagavad Gita, okay, so Vision Publications, or Introduction to Vedanta. And then there are a lot of other small booklets that you can read. Okay. So I wish you well on your systematic study of Vedanta. Okay. Then any other questions there are? So, even the hesitation to ask, what will people say? is Manomaya Kosha. Okay. So we do Viveka of that. It's okay, you know. It's all very likely people are also thinking of the same questions. Because I'm really impressed with you know, the people who signed up with this. So obviously there are some ideas and there are things that you all want to know and want to learn and apply in your life, and that's absolutely brilliant. So yes, if you want to clarify something or even you want to share your thoughts, you're most welcome to do that. What do we do when we feel overwhelmed by our current reality? Where is the first place to start? Okay, excellent question. We feel overwhelmed when we do not have access to internal resources or external resources. What I mean by that is a lot of things are happening all at once, and I am not able to muster the courage or the efficiency that I have, or the clarity that is required to deal with all of this, because I am not fully aware of my internal resources. Okay. Additionally, I continue to feel overwhelmed because I am not clear about the support system that I have, the people I can count on for emotional support, for financial support, the things that I have acquired, you know, like let's say even life insurance or medical insurance, you know, it is helpful for me to tide over some challenging situations. So the point is, how do I get in touch with all these resources? I do it when I'm not overwhelmed. Do you know when the army starts to prepare for war? Not on the eve of war. The army is always prepared. Every day. Every day, you are in touch with all that is your internal support. The moments of pride in your life, you know, you're so proud of yourself because you align with Dharma. Your achievements, your talents, your qualities, the people around you, the support that you have, the tradition that is backing you, the sampradaya you belong to, the rishis, the acharyas, the gurus, the devatas you pray to, the bhutas, plants and animals, your ancestors, they are all with you. You're never ever alone. And so when you are fully alive, alive to this reality that all of this is always, always with you, then you can deal with anything and everything. And yes, you will feel overwhelmed. All of us do from time to time. And what you do is you just pause and then you see not what I need to do, but in the context of Dharma, what needs to be done. You pray for grace and then you go about it, you know. And then there are so many people that are there to help you seek help, and people are most willing to help. So we prepare ourselves in such a way that I can deal with anything and everything. And so if and when war happens, I'm exaggerating, okay? So war as in you feel like, oh, so I don't know what I'm going to do, etc. So much drama. So it's okay. I can deal with it. You know, I have all the support and more. In fact, I can support others also for whatever they need. Okay, Priya? Okay, I have lost faith in people and in God. Okay. Then so then I don't trust there is support. Okay. So then I would ask you, what do you trust? you don't have to trust in people and God. It's okay, you know. But let's go with what you trust at the moment. Do you trust Amazon? Okay. I mean, Amazon to deliver, no? Like home delivery, you trust? You make some payment, it will come to your doorstep. Yes. So I will have to engage in dialogue with you to understand what is it you trust. Do you trust that if you put food in the mouth, it will all go and then things will get digested and then your body is growing? You trust that you are speaking to people, they understand you. You trust that you are able to think and you are able to express yourself. You trust that maybe people care for you, but I am not able to see it. So whatever you trust are really laws of nature. And yeah, by the way, they are pervaded by Bhagwan. But for now, we don't want to, engage with Bhagwan because we feel let down by him. And that's okay, no problem. You can pray to Bhagwan saying that I don't trust you. You really betrayed me or you let me down. And please restore my trust in life. Restore my trust in people. And let's say that I have been deeply betrayed. See, when we talk about trust, and I've done a elaborate series on this, trusting someone is not saying that the person will never hurt me again. Trusting someone or trusting myself is that even though there is hurt, I will recover and heal because there is a commitment to happiness and growth. So in families, this happens all the time. You snap at someone, you end up saying things and then you regret. But you are committed to the happiness of that person. And of course, you apologize or whatever is your way of dealing with it. But you trust the relationship enough, the foundation, that there have been moments of happiness and trust, that we can tide over this. That despite the hurt, I trust that I will get okay. So even I was in like the animals, right? They trust that they are provided for. The snake is provided for, the tiger is provided for, the birds are provided for, the insects are provided for, the crocodile is provided for. They go around hunting or whatever is their way of looking for food, and they get their food. So I would just say focus on things that will that you currently trust, and then you can build up. Okay, or you can get in touch with me. We can have a one-to-one. Yeah. Okay. Does from my very dear person, does therapy have any role to play in the pursuit of Vedanta? If so, when and how? If not, why not? Okay, so here the guru is in a better position to help the student decide, okay, whether therapy will help. The guru or the teacher does a lot of healing through the teaching, because the teaching is like this. It's so glorious. Vedanta is like that. So after a few months, or let's say few years, if there are certain persistent samskaras which are not being helped with Vedanta teaching and not even with a one-to-one with the guru, then definitely therapy, counseling is very, very important. And it is worth pursuing it. It's better to seek a therapist who has a spiritual background, because without that context, the person will not be able to help. I have already recommended a lot of the students who have come to me to undergo therapy. But before I recommend that, one other thing I also do is get their astrological chart read. Because sometimes we might be going through phases astrologically where despite our best efforts, there are obstacles, or there might be certain doshas we have. Like if we have not prayed to our ancestors enough, we have not done enough for them, or we have not prayed to certain devatas enough, there will be doshas lurking around. And so when one does the required prayers, one does the required sadhana, then immediately the path clears out for a lot of people. So I would recommend an astrological reading and then going through the parihara, the remedy suggested. And even if that doesn't help, then definitely long-term therapy counseling is important. Um, Therapy, of course, is a more formalized way of talking to a really loving, good friend. Okay. So we have formalized the system. It's been around for only like maybe 7,500 years and odd. But before this, we had, I mean, even now we still have loving and objective and accommodating friends. And so one would also suggest that you reach out to those people who can be there for you. Mm, Increasingly, I find that uh, we in our individualistic ways of living, we find it very difficult to be accommodating and loving. And so that job is kind of being taken over by therapists. So yes, of course, one can definitely go for that, right? There was one instance, in fact, one of the students only who went into therapy and found that the therapist was focusing too much on emotion, emotion, emotion. Okay. And because she had this exposure to Vedanta, she was like, but I am more than that. And the therapist just couldn't get it. So she's like, no, 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 so she had this question. Uh, that to what extent should I identify with the emotions? Very valid question, because the therapy framework requires you to do that. And so I said, well, you identify with it such that it is no longer a problem for you. You are able to welcome any and every emotion, and you are in time you are able to see every emotion as a manifestation of Bhagwan. But if the emotions are like, they are bothering you, then yes, please process it. Please process it in the most appropriate way possible. Uh, Okay, regular sadhana will help us. Absolutely. There is no spiritual pursuit without sadhana. And we are so committed to going to work and watching our TV, Netflix, etc., entertainment. So, Artha and Kama, so much discipline we have because of external structure. So, the same thing applies to Vedanta as well, which requires us to step up because, there's no one like breathing down your neck and saying, did you report on time, your biometrics, you've clocked in time, nobody's going to do that. And so you become your own compass and keep the sadhana regular. And of course, from time to time, we all miss, uh, but you come back to it again and again. Yato yato nischarati, tatu tatu niyamya. So you bring your mind again and again, you bring yourself back to the sadhana, such that your whole life becomes a sadhana. Initially, we may have some moments for sadhana, moments for japa. Sadhana is seen as an activity, but in time you see your whole life is a sadhana. It's a blessing because you are the sadhya, you are the goal that is to be reached. So all the way, it is great fun and highly enjoyable.
Including, yeah. So thank you, very nice. The way, thank on behalf of all the attendees. Thank you for having a very pleasant evening. The way in which you put it across, it makes it very encouraging. Even the most difficult aspects of life can be made. In the sense, the way in which you present it, the pleasing demeanor definitely gives a lot of confidence to all the people who have watched. That's my reading of the situation. And of course, that very detailed discussion on There is no way we can, after listening to this, in small and big aspects, we can never be alienated from whatever you call it, the force or force behind or supernatural or God or Ishvara, whatever. Definitely that linkage in small and big ways, each of us can be able to sense from the talks, and that helps us to reduce the alienation, and that itself is a good therapy to start with, and the rest can follow on the basis of what you have suggested. Thank you for a nice evening. Oh.
I really enjoyed being with all of you. Thank you very much. I put my email ID just in case anybody wants to get in touch. Oh, that's it.